Hey y'all, Little Horse Creek Adventures out here this afternoon. We gonna work a little bit on the dump truck. The brake booster motor does not seem to be working. You know, it's not something I got a whole lot of experience with. Done a little bit of research on it, studying up on it, done a little bit of testing. But here's the regular brake master cylinder for the old dump truck. It's a 95 Ford F series, about like a F800. And the way this thing is set up, the way I understand it, there's an electric motor, and if we ease down under here, this is the electric motor right through there that actually gives you brake booster power in case the truck was to shut off and the power brakes didn't really work anymore. This 12-volt electric motor would hold the pressure and the pump on your brakes, and it's tied back into the brake pedal and all like that. Well, the truck drives fine and brakes fine, but without having the booster, and you can imagine, you know, if you have a load on the dump truck and if it chokes down, shuts off with you in the road with a load, and you lost your power brakes, well, it may not stop in the distance that you'd want to be able to stop in. So that's kind of the idea behind the brake booster. And you ought to be able to hear that electric motor running when you press on the brake pedal, and you can't. So I've done some testing on the electric motor. I've tried to read through it, and those of you that kind of watch the channel, you've seen me test electric motors before, particularly the one on the pontoon earlier in the spring, the tilt trim motor. You ought to be able to read through a simple electric motor, and I can't read through this one. I've actually applied 12 volts directly to the motor from the battery of the truck, and it it won't run. So I'm believing that this electric motor up under here has gone bad, and we've already got a replacement motor for it, and we're gonna set out to try to change it out this afternoon. Not sure what I'm gonna get into. I don't know how much fluid I'm gonna lose, if any. Never done this before, but we're gonna check it out. I'll try to show you what I mean by reading through it. So I'm gonna kind of step back, set the camera down probably for a minute, and I'm gonna take the power lead off the motor, and that's it. Hopefully you can see there. This is the relay. This is the control relay. I've tested the relay already. I've had it off the truck and actually bench tested it, and functionally it works correctly. Now I say functionally because you put 12 volts across the coil closes in, pulls the contacts in, and makes and breaks the contacts accordingly. I do not know whether the relay is working properly under load, and that can happen sometimes, you know, where you may have something between the contacts that's keeping you from being able to do work. It may electrically read, which it does. It reads fine, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it operates correctly under load. But I hope it will. I'm gonna lay the relay back. I'm gonna take this connector off so I'll have a little bit more room in here, and I'm gonna take that power lead off, and we'll get back up under here. Be back in a minute. Before we get back up under the hood, I'm going to show you some of the tools I expect we're going to need to work on this project. Got my nut driver handle and a 1/4 inch nut driver handle with various 1/4 inch extensions. Got a 1/2 inch combination flat. Got my 1/4 inch ratchet. Got a 5/16 socket. Got a 3/8 socket, and got a 1/2 inch socket. I'm gonna need some long extensions to be able to get the power lead off the motor, because I got to come down from the top, and it's a good little old ways. That connection is the 5/16. That's the new motor that we ordered. Hopefully it'll go back correctly, but that's where the power lead goes to from the relay, and that's a 5/16. The 3/8, you know, I was talking about the relay a minute ago. That's a 3/8 bolt that's holding the relay onto the side of the booster frame, and the 1/2 inch is actually the 1/2 inch combination, and the 1/2 inch socket is going to be what we're going to use to take the bolts loose that'll go in those two holes right there. Also got me some various screwdrivers laid out, a pair of channel locks, ball peen hammer. You don't ever know what else you might need. Got my little volt ohm meter out here, and we're going to use the meter here in a minute. But thought we'd kind of go over the tools. Kind of a simple tool list if all goes well, but we'll pick back up here in a minute. Okay, y'all, I got the relay laid back. It was attached right there with the bracket right there. I pulled this sensor off from the base of the master cylinder, and I took the power lead off the electric motor. So I'm going to now take a look and show you what I mean by reading through. I've got my meter set up, and I'm on ohms, and we're going to check the continuity. I'm going to make the connection here. Alright, we got full continuity on the meter by connecting the two leads. Alright, I'm going to take it off and see it goes back to infinity. And I'm going to clip it back on down there. The meter goes back to 0, just like we'd expect. So everything's working the way it's supposed to. Now, I'm going to take this lead, I'm going to clip it to where the power or the 12-volt connection would go. I'm going to take my other lead, and I'm going to touch the frame of the motor. Now, if that motor was good, we ought to be reading 0 on the meter, and we are not. I mean, and I'm scraping it a little bit with the lead, meter lead, so we're not reading through that electric motor. Now let's take a look at the new electric motor over here, and let me get all my stuff disconnected. Alright, clip on here, and take that, clip on there if I can, one-handed. Let me just go on ahead and take that nut off. Fumble fingers. Alright, I'm on it. Now I'm going to take my other lead. Let me skeet up here, maybe we'll be able to see both of them at the same time. Looking at the meter, touch the frame of the motor. The meter goes to 0. Full continuity. We're reading through the windings of that electric motor. And that's what you'd expect. I turn it loose, we go back to infinity, open circuit. We touch the frame of the motor again. The meter goes to 0, exactly like we'd expect. Like I say, we're reading through the windings of that electric motor. So, next step, and I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to fix it for y'all to be able to see as I work on it. I may just have to show you the kind of the aftermath, but there's two bolts, there's two 1/2-inch bolts that's holding that electric motor onto the booster frame here. There's one here, it's going to be easy to get to, no sweat. But then the other one, I don't even know whether I'm going to be able to get it where you can see it. Alright, I'm going to try something here. I'm going to hope you're going to see it. Let me see. I don't know whether you can see it or not. I may have some stuff to try to edit out, but that's the front of the motor. Anyway, there's a bolt head right up here. Right there, that bolt's got to come out. That bolt's got to come out. Like I say, that one's going to be easy. The one against the firewall, that's going to wind up being another story. So, so I'm going to get started on that. I'm going to show you what I can, but we'll pick back up here in a minute. Alright, y'all, I got the new motor in, got the relay hooked up, got the power back on it, and of course it's about 5 weeks later now, but gaskets did not come with the new motor. And so I decided to put the old gaskets in there. I checked them. They didn't look like they had any weather checks. They didn't have any tears. They looked all right. So I was going to roll the dice, stuck them in there. Well, I got everything bolted up and got in the truck, cranked up the truck. And as we were hoping, the warning buzzer went off. The warning light went off. The brake pedal felt great, and I mean, everything was working just like it should have been. Climbed down out of the cab, looked up underneath the the cowling here, and I mean, it was pouring transmission fluid, or the booster fluid that it runs on. And so I hurried up, shut the truck off, and stuffed a rag up underneath it, and figured I was going to have to get new gaskets, which we did. The gaskets, let me show you. This is the old motor over here. The gaskets fit in this little groove that goes around there and around there, and we had a time finding them, but there's the new set. I got 2 sets. I got 4 of them, just in case they, you know, in case I messed one up, pinched it or something, trying to go back in with it. But I'm going to have to take the new motor back out. I'm going to have to take the power lead off of it, take the relay back off the frame, kind of give me a little bit more working area, take them 2 bolts out that we had talked about, and pretty much lick my calf back over entirely. I hope to goodness that them new gaskets are going to seal. I hope we don't have some sort of issue between the mating surfaces of the new motor and the booster frame. But that's what I'm going to set out to do, and I'll bring the camera back over. I've tried to set the camera up all kind of different ways so maybe you could see me working in there, but they just ain't enough room to cuss a cat in there. So I'll pick back up here in a minute. Alright, y'all, took it out, put it back in, got the power lead back on, got the relay mounted back to the frame, and got everything tightened up, what feels like good and tight to me. These are the gaskets, the old gaskets that I had tried to reuse. You can actually see, if you hold one of the new ones up against the old one, where it looks like the old one was somewhat flattened out. The new ones are thicker, rounder. I hope that's going to be enough to give us a good seal. I also hope that the battery is going to be hot enough to crank the truck. I did have to add almost 2 quarts of fluid back, because I did lose it down. Let's see. Hope it cranks. For one thing, it's been mighty cold. Let the warm up just a tad. You see the brake electric motor light right there, and you hear the warning buzzer. That's related to that that pump, that motor. Alright, maybe it's warmed up enough. Buzzer went off. Here's going to be the moment of truth. Going out there, see if we're spewing fluid. for a while, and we'll test it. We'll take it up the driveway and back down again, test it out. I think we got it. Let that be a lesson to all of us that even though old rubber gaskets look good, don't even bother trying to reuse them. Get you some new ones, put them in. That way maybe you don't have to do the job twice times over. But appreciate y'all being with us. Appreciate y'all watching. And we'll see y'all later.